Every day is a busy day on the homestead, and today is no exception. Come along as we get some things done in the garden. Hi everybody, welcome to Living Traditions Homestead. This is Sarah and Kevin, and today we've got some things to get done in the garden. We've been talking about our row covers for in between our rows in the garden. We're going to be finishing that up today so we can stop stressing about all these weeds. They're just coming up everywhere and turning back into the lawn.
Yeah, we've been super happy with the way that the weed paper is working on the actual rows where the plants are planted. We have like no weeds coming up except for right in the little hole where the plants are planted, and those are easy to keep up with. But the walkways are a disaster. It's gotten to the point where I've had to bring the lawnmower in and actually mow the walkways.
Oopsies. So
we started on it last night, yes. But it got too late, got too dark, so we're gonna finish it up today.
And also, our tomato plants are doing amazing. They're like exploding. For a couple of weeks, they were just kind of stagnant, not doing anything with all the work going on underneath the ground. Well, now we've had a lot of rain, we've had a lot of sun, a lot of humidity, and so they're just starting to explode. So there's some maintenance work we need to do on the tomatoes now. They're starting to tip over, so we need to prop them up. And I want to show you a couple other tips to keeping them healthy throughout the summer. So let's get started. Busy day, and it's gonna be a hot one. So I just want to show you kind of the difference, and we are really gonna enjoy this summer. So you can see this long, nice patch of grass, lawn, basically, that is part of our garden. And we're gonna be covering this up with that row cover as, you know, kind of a mulch, I guess, a man-made mulch. And it will turn into that. Isn't that amazing? So we're gonna get started. We did a little bit of this last night, like Kevin said, but we've got that end of the garden to do now. And this one, we'll be back, but we've gotta fix these tomatoes first.
Now that's how I like to weed a garden. So I found that the fastest, easiest way to cut this weed paper is with a torch. That way you cut it and it seals both sides at the same time so it doesn't unravel. I didn't do that the first time around, and I wish I would have, because now I need to go back and try to melt the ends of all the ones that we did the first time. So this is by far the fastest way that I have found. Just like that. I wanted to show you guys the staples that we're using to hold the fabric to the ground. We've had some questions, and some people were concerned because they've used staples in the past that didn't hold up. These are professional. These are made specifically for this type of fabric. These are only available through a professional growers type store. So I would recommend you guys check on growersolution.com. Don't forget to use our coupon code Traditionalist10 and you'll get 10% off your order. But these are, again, made specifically for this. They're 6 inches long. You can't get this kind at your normal big box store like Walmart or Home Depot or things. And I can tell you, we have had no problem with these, and we have had some pretty strong winds since we've had this fabric down on the ground, and none have pulled out. I don't see any signs of any even starting to pop out, so we're real happy with them. We're gonna get started on the next row, but we need to move Ulysses first. He's in the way. You're doing a good job, buddy, but it's time to go. We're gonna move you over by the tomatoes. I found the easiest way to roll this stuff out is just to put a piece of string through the tube, and then you can just walk right down the row. So, works out great. Nothing fancy.
It's kind of like a fresh coat of paint. It's awesome. Well, we have a couple problem situations going on with the tomatoes right now. So I'm going to do a little bit of maintenance on them. I'm going to show you what I'm doing, talk to you about why. And then there's one thing I'm going to do as a preventative measure. So some of our tomatoes in the wind and that kind of thing have started to topple over. Also, they're just getting bigger and heavier. And so now it's time to start tying them up to the fencing that we've put in here. We'll actually need to do this several times over the summer as they get bigger and bigger. We'll be tying them up in different ways to make sure that they stay upright. It's important for tomatoes to remain upright and not falling on the ground, because any leaves or any part of the plant that's on the ground is going to be susceptible to diseases. So it's important for them to be staked up. There is no one right way to do that. There are many ways. You can use cages, you can use fences like this, you can tie them up with string or different fabric. There are even like clips and things on the market. So whatever works best for you, makes sense for your time and your money and those kinds of things, just go ahead and try it. I'm not going to tell you that my way is the best. This is just how I do it. So the first thing I'm doing today is I am supporting these plants that have fallen over. I'm just going to bring them up as upright as I can. They must have been here for a couple days because they started growing up toward the sun. But as soon as I support them on this fence, then they'll start growing back straight up toward the sun. I'm just going to be using cotton string, and I'm going to be reinforcing the main stem and attaching that to the fencing. Not really hard. And however it works best for you to tie it, just go ahead and do that. You know, over the years I've just kind of developed a way that I like to do that. I know it might be kind of hard to see, but I'm just supporting the main stem with the string, and I'm going to tie it to this edge or this part of the fencing. So for now, as far as supporting this goes, that's all I need to do is move on to the next one. It will start correcting itself and start growing up again. Now, while I'm at this plant, there are a couple other things going on. Well, at least one thing going on. There are leaves that are either touching the ground or just about to touch the ground. They're close to the ground when it rains. You know, debris and dirt and disease can splash up on the lower leaves, and we want to prevent that and minimize the opportunity for that to happen, because, like I said before, diseases from the ground can get up on your tomato plants and cause damage and problems throughout the entire summer. So I'm going to be removing all of the leaves that are anywhere near touching the ground or might be starting to touch the ground soon. It's most important for this plant to remain healthy, and so I'm going to be just doing that. So that one is done. I'm going to take this one off too, because it's pretty close to the ground, and actually it's already starting to get some holes on it and stuff. I'm not sure if that's from, we had some hail a while ago, could be from that, could be from some insects already. So we're just going to do that. And the last thing I'm going to do for every one of these tomatoes is I'm going to sprinkle some eggshells, some ground up eggshells right on the bottom. Eggshells provide necessary calcium to tomato plants to help them produce full tomatoes. There's something called blossom end rot on tomatoes, where the bottom of the tomato, where the flower was, it doesn't develop properly, and becomes a rotten spot there, and then you're not able to eat that tomato. But if you add calcium to the soil, it helps prevent that. And one way that I do that on the homestead is I collect our eggshells from both our chickens and our ducks. I bake them in the oven on 275 for about 20 or 30 minutes just to kind of sterilize them. And then I put them in my food processor and turn them into, you know, not powder, but just small eggshells, you know, like that. And so I'm just gonna put some of these around the tomatoes on the ground, and then when it rains and when we irrigate, those nutrients will go down into the soil and help prevent blossom end rot. Well, I'm going to continue doing all of those things. We have to get these off the ground before we can finish the landscape fabric on the rows over there. So it's starting to get hot, so we need to get busy. Well, all the tomatoes are tied up and fixed up, leaves cut, and eggshell put down. They're looking so good. I'm so excited for this year's tomato season. So now, finally, we can just do the weed fabric down this row. It'll be nice and clean and no more weeds. That'll be the end of our garden maintenance today.
Well, we've got all the fabric in the garden and it looks great. I'm super excited that now I don't have to worry about mowing the garden.
Or picking a bunch of
right.
weeds.
And this was an easy solution for us, and it will do a great job.
So everything is looking fantastic in the garden. We're so glad that you've joined us today in the garden. If this is your first time on the homestead, welcome. We'd sure like for you to subscribe below. Right now is a fantastic time to do that. If you're one of our traditionalists who comes back for every video, thank you so much. Hey, if you know somebody that you think would like our channel or like this video, go ahead and share that. And until next time, you guys, thanks so much for stopping by the homestead. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.